The New York Knicks. A big shakeup is coming, and this playoff performance is just full view of the obvious. Let's dive in.
ThaAuthenticTake, the real, no fake. ThaAuthenticTake.
Well, currently, as we sit right now, the New York Knicks are down 2-1 in the first round of the playoffs. And they are going up against the Atlanta Hawks, a youthful team that is really doing their thing right now. I heard Kenny the Jet Smith even call them possibly OKC 2.0, which they really do have the makeup for it. But, we'll see how that pans out. But anyway, the Knicks should not be stumbling right now in the playoffs. And basically what I, said earlier in the season, because, the Knicks are my secondary team. I love New York and everything and blah, 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 whatever. But I just felt in the beginning of the season and throughout the season, the Knicks just look soft. Almost like they just know the end is coming and it's like whatever to them. But right now in the playoffs, they're looking soft. They're down a game in the first round against the Hawks, which they definitely should not be with the talent that they got on their roster. Their new head coach, Mike Brown, is really already in the hot seat. I guess, you're never not in the hot seat when you are an athlete or a coach in New York. But still, I think the one constant in New York is Jalen Brunson. He's just ball dominant and he's just a guy that constantly day in day out does his thing. And then you go to players like Cat. This guy is supposed to be this big force and he's really inconsistent. Like he really needs to be a dominant force and use his size to his advantage. And I think that's something that he lacks or like steers away from. And Josh Hart, I think he's been in his feelings too much this season, going after Stephen A. Smith. My only thing is like, yeah, you could do that, but if you're that locked, you're that focused, you're not hearing what receding hairline Stephen A. Smith is saying. No, you're locked in, you're focusing on yourself, the team, and you're not really hearing that. So I think his focus has been coming to question this season. And I feel like maybe 2 years ago was like his peak because I couldn't believe he was like averaging like 10 rebounds plus in the playoffs. That was fucking crazy to me. But who knows? I mean, I feel like everybody but Jalen Brunson could really just be gone after this season. And then you go to Mikal Bridges. Like, he's shown up a little bit, but really why he's with the Knicks is because Jalen Brunson on his extension took a pay cut, leaving about 114 million available. And the one of the dumbest transactions that was ever made happened. I believe 4 or 5 picks for Mikal Bridges, and they've been suffering ever since because I don't know how you ever get a return for that. And he's another guy that it's kind of like, yeah, maybe he could be gone next year, possibly, but it's always like it's kind of like hard to let go because man, you gave up like 4 or 5 future picks for him. Like, are you sure you could just give up on him? Because he's kind of like your future in a nutshell. But anyway, I just been feeling like they've been soft and, how they're playing in the playoffs right now is kind of, proof in the pudding, man. I just don't know how they're going to get it together. And everybody was complaining last year that Tom Thibodeau was running these players into the ground. But maybe in the end result, that made them tougher, that made them grit out stuff. And now it's just kind of like they didn't have Jalen Brunson and Cat on the floor at the same time in a peak part of the game. And that was just weird. And just stuff is all awry in New York. And I just think at the end of the season, and that could be coming up pretty quick here, that it's like a complete just fire sale for the most part. I mean, I think Brunson's safe, but I think Mike Brown will be fired. I think they got to make a decision on Hart. I would get rid of him. It's like you could find him. He's replaceable. Cat, he might be a little bait for a possible Giannis move. And the Knicks seem kind of close on Giannis because Giannis wants to go to New York and they got the pieces to do it. So, and I think the Knicks, I think they will keep Michael Bridges. So, I don't know, a lot of decisions to make. Is this real or fugazi? I gotta think it's real because there's credibility to the argument that the Knicks aren't who they were maybe like at least 2 years ago. And this year was really finals or bust. And if they don't make it there, this is like they were disappointed last year, not making it to the finals, just making it to, the conference finals. And the Knicks need to get the monkey off their back, basically. And this is a real thing. And they always look promising after the year's drought of just being a crappy team. And it just kind of seems like they keep hitting the brick wall. Is it time to hit the panic button? I say hell yes, because I feel like New York Knicks fans have been hitting the panic button since the 80s, probably even the 70s, but I can't vouch for that because, I was not alive yet. But yeah, I think it's definitely a panic button situation in New York. They got to find the right formula to bring a championship product to that city. And right now, I just don't think they have it. And my authentic take of this video is that if the New York Knicks lose this series against the Atlanta Hawks, there will be major changes with the New York Knicks, and nobody is safe, in my opinion, besides Jalen Brunson. And that's the harsh reality of having, maybe the last 3 years have been good years, but when you don't hit the mountaintop, you have to reformulate and try to make a product that will get you to that mountaintop. So I think major changes are coming if the Knicks lose in this first round. If they make it out of this round, if they don't make it to the finals, basically, and it's not looking that great right now, but I think they can rebound. I mean, their last loss to the Hawks was by 1 point. So, it could have gone either way to where they could have been up 2-1. But if they don't proceed to the finals, I definitely think there will be changes that need to be made in New York. But that's what I think. Tell me what you think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This has been The Authentic Take. Until next time.
The authentic take. The real, no fake. The authentic take.